Robert Rivas Radio, Tejano, and much more. And I'm here with Elida Reyna. Good morning, Elida, and welcome to Robert Rivas Radio.
Oh, thank you. Good morning, and great to be here.
Wow. Elida, what a pleasure it is for me to finally meet you. I've worked with many artists, and I've como se dice, I have met many artists, but I've never met you. Es un placer.
Wow, well, it's nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Elida, I was trying to do some of my homework on you, and like I said, I do know about your music, and I know about you, but I had to get some information about you, and I'm going to start it off like this. This is just simply unreal. Latin Grammy Award-winning Tejano band from the Rio Grande Valley, ¿verdad? 1992. Their first two albums, Atrévete, 1994, and Algo Interno, 1996, were qualified for gold status and produced the popular singles Luna Yenna and Lágrimas de Amor. They were awarded Billboard Magazine's Revelación del Año Award and were named Rising Group of the Year at the TTMA Industry Awards in 1995. Their 2010 album, Fantasia, earned them a Latin Grammy Award. Lead singer Elida Reyna was given a place in the Tejano Roots Hall of Fame. Wow. That's a lot of work, no?
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of hard work behind all of that, but you know, it all, like they say, it all pays off when you practice hard and work hard and are dedicated to what you do. And most of all, I think as a little girl, you know, I always dreamed big, and you know, and that's a big part of it. That's
right. Like I said, I was just simply overwhelmed by some of the stuff that you have here, man, and it is unreal. And of course, a lot of hard work, a lot of miles on the road. Yes. A lot of corajes with promotores, with events. You know, it all comes in. It's all a mix. I'm sure you know that. You've gone through it. Now, let's go back here a little bit. You were born in San Antonio, Texas, ¿verdad?
Yes, I was.
And but then you moved to Dallas, Texas.
Yes, I did.
Right? Okay. I'm going through my resources, and I want to make sure that we got them all down here.
Right.
Now, then from there you moved to Mercedes, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
Okay. From there, where did you know? Where did you say, you know what? I want to be a singer.
I knew way before that. Even living in Dallas, I mean, my dad can tell you at 2 years old, you know, that's just something that was always in me. I was always singing around the house. You know, he could tell that the music was in me. And I think when I realized that this is what I wanted to do as a career was when I was 9 years old, and I was in a talent show in our elementary school at the time. They had a talent show. And I sang a song. At that time, Fame was a very popular TV show that was being aired on TV. And I wanted to be Irene Cara. And so I just, you know, we just decided to do the song Fame. And then shortly after that, was on the Johnny Canales show. They had like an amateur show. Like for amateurs.
Right.
You know, young stars like myself. And that's basically where I got my feet wet, so to speak. And I loved it. And I knew it. I knew at that moment that this is what I was destined to do.
And you never looked back.
No.
Never looked back. Now, you formed Elida y Avante in 1992, ¿verdad?
Yes.
In Rio Grande Valley. Mm-hmm. Now, your first album was Atrévete, right? In 1994, under La Mafia's label, Voltage.
Yes.
Okay, that was your one and only CD with Voltage, ¿verdad?
Well, there's a misconception there. It wasn't under Mafia, even though Mafia discovered us. Mando Lechenberger was initially the person that I guess connected us to Henry Gonzalez, the late Henry Gonzalez, who is, of course, everybody knows him as the older brother of Oscar and Leonard of Grupo La Mafia.
Okay.
So we were actually signed to Henry, and we were signed to him for a very short time, maybe about 2 years or so, which was the first album that we recorded as a group, which was the album called Atrévete. So actually, that's to date, that's probably one of the most significant albums I've ever recorded. One of the best albums I've ever recorded.
Really?
If you ask any musician, especially in the industry, even today, I think they would say that that's probably their favorite album that Elida has ever recorded.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it was only your relationship with Voltage was only one CD, ¿verdad?
Yes, it was.
And that was it. And then you moved forward. You received the TTMA's Industry Awards for Rising Group of the Year and Rising Female Vocalist of the Year in 1995, ¿verdad? It went gold, right?
Yes,
it sold pretty much at least 50,000 units.
Back in the day, the albums went gold before the internet, before all this, you know, pirateria and all this stuff.
Yeah, before everybody could download and share and all that other good stuff.
Exactly.
No doubt. And of course, and it really propelled the single Luna Yenna.
Yes.
Talk to me about Luna Yenna.
Well, Luna Yenna is, again, by far, I think when people think of Elida Reyna, they think Luna Yenna. There is no show that we do to date where we do not play Luna Yenna. I think we have to, no matter what, we always have to perform it, you know.
Sure.
People always ask for it. And Luna Yenna is a song by EJ Ledesma, which, in a weird sort of way, myself and EJ kind of followed each other's careers, because at 14, 15, I had already heard about EJ Ledesma. I didn't know that he wrote for Grupo La Mafia, and I didn't know that he was that kind of a songwriter. I knew of him through Carlos Guzman, because back in the day, being from the Valley, you know, I was surrounded by all of these seasoned, you know, legends, you know, like, you know, Mel Villarreal, and I, you know, got to, you know, perform with these men, Carlos Guzman and all them, and Carlos was actually the one that introduced me to EJ's music through other songs. I had recorded 2 songs previous to Luna Yenna that belonged to EJ Ledesma, and then being with Henry Gonzalez from, you know, with La Mafia and of course with Volta's East Coast, he said, I have this song and it's beautiful and it's called Luna Yenna. I want you to check it out. And he'd given us some other songs, but that song in particular just stood out. And when we recorded it, it was just magic. The chemistry, you know, with the band and just the music, the lyrics, I mean, everything just came together when we recorded this song.
No doubt about it. I'll tell you what, at this time, let's go ahead and play it. Your first hit single, Luna Yenna. Robert Rivas Radio, Tejano, and much more.
Decir si por ahí puedes ver a mi amor. Hace mucho que lo ando buscando. Si lo ves, dile que estoy llorando porque extraño su amor. No conoces porque bajo tu luz, con palabras como una canción, prometió que siempre me amaría y al instante le entregué mi vida. ¿No te acuerdas? Dime por favor. Mi tormento, por tu culpa yo me enamoré. Quiero saber si como yo ahora estás sufriendo o a otros brazos te está prometiendo lo que a mí me prometió. Porque bajo tu luz, con palabras como una canción, prometió que siempre me amaría y al instante le entregué mi vida. ¿No te acuerdas? Dime por favor. ¿Dónde andará? Si lo miras, dime qué está haciendo. Luna llena, ¿no ves mi tormento? Por tu culpa yo me enamoré. Quiero saber
Robert Rivas Radio, Tejano, and much more. And we're back here with Elida Reyna. And wow, what a song. Luna Yenna, what can you say about it other than it's just a smash hit? Now, let's go to 1996, where you won TTMA's award for Rising Female Star, and in 1997, you hosted the Pura Vida Awards. Wow, I totally forgot about the Pura Vida Awards. What happened to those people?
I don't know. That was actually a really fun award show to do, and I was very lucky to actually host along with Pira Studio one year.
Okay.
And yeah, that we were the, I guess, the MCs for the night. It was really neat, and we had a really good time.
1999, you won Tejano Music Awards as the most promising band, and then 2000, you scored big with a ranchera song called Duele. Talk to me about Duele.
Well, Duele was written, basically it's a personal experience, something that happened to me, and never did I imagine that this song would, or that so many other women could relate to this, or that other girls were going through the same thing that I was going through. So this song was never meant to be a single. It was just meant to be like a filler in an album. It actually was the last song that we recorded for the album. We were just trying to fill in the album. And we're doing radio promotion, and here we are in San Angelo, Texas. There's a plane flying right over us.
There's a plane flying by. There you go, man. Of course, of all timing, right? It's all right. We keep on going.
And so it just so happened that we were at a radio show, doing a radio show in Big Spring. And people just started, without even, we were actually promoting another song. And people are like, well, we like that song, Duele. We just happened to play a little snippet of it. And the phones just lit up. And people were like, we like that song. Can you play that song? And that's kind of when we knew that we had something special with that song, you know. And before we knew it, it was a smash hit.
Isn't that something on a song that you never thought it was going to be the one,
yes.
And that's the one that ends up being a smash hit?
For me, it was just a way to vent, to say what I had, to say what I had to say, I guess, and let out my feelings or whatever.
Sure.
But never did I imagine that other people, I guess, were going through it, and that's why I did so well, because so many women could relate to it.
How many women embrace that? Too many of them.
To this day.
And they keep on, and I think that song's going to live forever, man. Yeah. Seriously, man, they just simply embrace it, and they're embracing you and your music, no doubt about it, Elida. Yeah. Now, you've been traveling, man. You've gone to Asia, you've been to Europe, ¿verdad?
Yes.
And then back in 2005, you went ahead and got into Las Tres Divas with Shelly Lares and Stephanie Montiel. Talk to me about this.
Well, it was just it was supposed to be like a novelty, something that we were going to try out for about a year and just have fun with it. And we kind of put all the bands together, you know, a little bit of Shelly's steps, myself or whatever, and then kind of just worked at it that way. And we ended up actually forming a band that we call the Divas Band. And we just went on the road with it, and everywhere we went, I mean, people seemed to really react to it and like it. As a matter of fact, you know, every now and then I still get requests, hey, when are you going to do another album or do another show? But really it was just meant to do just for fun and you know,
a novelty act, kind of
stuff. Yeah, a novelty act and just travel from city to city and then just leave it at that. But eventually it we ended up going around the world with it, obviously.
Now, I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all were dressed up in mariachi outfits, ¿verdad? Yes, no?
The girls did another show after that with mariachi.
You weren't involved in that?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, that's what I was saying. I remember there was something like that. I wasn't too sure if you were part of that or not.
Yeah.
Now, okay, it was Las Tres Divas, and then actually y'all went on a 21-day overseas tour to entertain the troops. Talk to me about that.
Well, yeah, we were, I guess, approached by Gibson Guitar, the Gibson people, to do something for the troops overseas, and we thought, well, this would be a fun opportunity. So, yeah, we went to our first stop was Guam, and then from Guam we went to Japan, stayed there for a week. Then we went to Korea, and we were there for another week. So we were gone for about almost a month, 3 weeks. What a great experience! I mean, so many Tejanos in Korea, Japan. I mean, we just never imagined. I mean, we played these little nightclubs that were in the base, and so it was a way of bringing Texas or Tejano to all of them. A little bit of Texas too.
Were you nervous at any time being out there, being outside of the country? And
I think initially at first, yeah, you're a little scared because you're thinking about the flight and everything. But they took such good care of us. I mean, they fed us well. They, we stayed in the best hotels. 5-star hotels, and sometimes they were 1-star, just depending. But we had one bad occasion, but it's only because the base was already filled up. So they didn't have anywhere to put us, so they had to put us in the city in Korea. So they put us in a place called Hole in the Wall. So I think that pretty much tells you everything.
Did anything ever come close to where they said, you know what, we're gonna have to move you on because something's going on here? Or?
No, never. As a matter of fact, when we were in Korea, we were like 20 miles from, 20 miles from the border of North Korea. So we were, we were just like right there.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah,
you get a little
but
nervous.
we never had any. No, everything was great.
That's great.
They treated us very well. So well that we decided to do another tour. And so...
What an experience, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. In 2007, you signed with Freddie Records.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, with Texas Records, did they close down, or what happened with Texas Records?
Freddie is going strong. They're going strong. They have Ramon Ayala. They have, you name it, they have everybody. They have Solido. They have Signo. They have us. They have Lucky Joe that they just signed, and they've also got Jimmy G.
What I was asking was that the relationship with Texas Records, was it just kind of like your contract ran out and you went to Freddie? Is that what it was?
Yeah, and they were tired. They were done with the Tejano, and I think they're off to better ventures. Like Chris is more into the rock. He always was.
Okay.
Chris was my manager for many years, for 10 years, but he was also the president of the record label. Conflict of interest, if you ask me, but that's another story.
Oh yeah. and there's a lot of stories like that.
Oh yeah.
Your first album with Freddie was Domingo, ¿verdad?
Yes.
And talk to me about Domingo.
Well, it was basically just like our first project, so we really didn't know what direction to take it. Our musical director, who's also my husband, who's standing right here listening to me talk about it, he could tell you, we really didn't know what direction to take it. We just kind of, went with our heart and just kind of went with the flow. And, it did pretty well, but it wasn't our best album. And we could tell you it wasn't the best, but it was like we were getting our feet wet with Freddie for the first time, kind of feeling it out and just seeing,
Would you say it was a little disappointing in a sense?
Not disappointing. Everything's a learning experience. I never look at it as a disappointment. If anything, you learn from it, and then you're like, okay, I'm not gonna. This happened. Okay, well, let's not do that again. That didn't work. Let's try to do something. And then you just kind of, you just eventually mold it into something better.
Were you able to take more control of your music being with Freddie?
Yes.
In a sense to where you could say, you know what, I'm going to go with this?
Well, the beauty of it is that now I had somebody that I could be creative with, and kind of get those creative juices flowing. And I had my husband to do that with me, who does the music part of it.
Okay.
So like if I had an idea and we would like get together and we would collaborate, and that's basically where a lot of the songs were coming from, because at that time we didn't have songwriters. Nobody really wanted to work with Tejano artists, or we sure, we're not feeling that love. And so it was hard to find good songs, or even when we did get the songs, they just didn't fit who we were or what it is that we wanted to project or what we wanted to do. So it was difficult for the first couple of years.
The transition's always sometimes it's a little bit shaky, but you definitely took off. At 2010, the 30th anniversary of the Tejano Music Awards, you won as the 2-decade ballads for female vocalist of the 2000s and best song of the 2000s with Duele. Here's one thing that simply blew me away about you. You performed for President Barack Obama. Talk to me about this.
Well, that was an amazing experience, because I got a phone call one day. And it was David Chavez. David Chavez, of course, is involved with. He's involved in a lot of things that are going on, all over the nation. And David is always involved with the talent part of it. And I just got a phone call from him asking if I would be interested in performing for Barack Obama, along with Michael Salgado. And of course, I jumped at the opportunity. Who wouldn't?
Sure, of course.
And so, it's like. Everything's, free flight, free, everything. It's like you're just going to go in and perform. Do what you do best.
Nothing one-star about that, right?
Oh, heck no. No. They treat you, the best. Everything 5-star all the way.
Now, you came out in a motion picture called Harvest of Redemption.
Oh, yes.
Let's talk about that.
Well, it was just, it's an independent film that actually the storyline is pretty amazing. It's actually a very beautiful and a beautiful story that actually did happen. A lot of it is true, and those are a lot of the hardships that they, I guess, dealt with back in the day, back in the 1950s, which is when this was done. Well, the original, the true story that happened in the 1950s. So it's based around that, and so I just had a little part in it. I sing Duele, you know, and it was just an amazing experience, you know, to be able to be a part of that.
How did they come across you to contact you for you to be a part of this movie? What happened? How did it? It's
always who knows you, who you know, and one of the co-directors was I believe Eddie Howell, who used to be my counselor. He used to be my teacher at our high school back home, and on top of that, he the first band, actually the second band that I ever used to play with when I was 16. Okay, that was the band that I used to play with. He was the guitar player. I used to play with a bunch of teachers, and he was one of them. And so he never forgot me. And so when he actually wrote the storyline for it, you know, of course, he was like, called me up right away and asked me if I would be involved.
You know, I talk to a lot of people in the music business, and it's always talking about, you know, Tejano bands, singers, so on and so on. And I've always said that the female Tejano market is just simply unreal. It's how tough it is. Yeah. I mean, I feel bad for a lot of the female singers who try to get into the music business, but again, right away, you know, the public, oh, she wants to be Selena. Oh, she wants to be Selena. Yeah. And I got to give you something, Elida, and I'll tell this to anybody, and I've said this before. Sure, but you know what, Elida, you're not. You're doing your own thing. You're doing your own thing, and I think people, you know, have embraced that about you, that you're not trying to be Selena or anybody else. You're trying to be Elida.
No, you're right.
You know, and that's all you're trying to do. You're just trying to be yourself.
Exactly.
You know, and
that's what I've always wanted. I mean, I never set out to be like any... Okay, I take that back, because I think as a young kid, you know, there's always that person that you admire, that you look up to, that you want to be like. For me, it was Laura Canales. So I wanted to be like Laura Canales, you know. I wanted to be up there. I wanted to wear the fur coats and the... You know, I wanted to be like her. Of course, as you grow up, you kind of grow into your own identity, and then you eventually realize what it is that you want to do, what, you know,
sure,
how you want to dress and all that. Of course, I don't want to wear the fur coats anymore. You know, even though every now and then I will wear a nice little fur jacket, you know. But aside from that, I want to be my own person, and I don't want to be like anybody else. Even though, do I love and do I admire Selena? Of course. Who doesn't? I mean,
sure.
Do we have a lot of the same backgrounds? I think all the females we all have the same background. I mean, we all come from a Mexican background, you know, Mexican American background. Our mom, our dad loved Tejano music, so we grew up loving Tejano music because of our parents. It's kind of that upbringing. We have those things in common, but we're all different in our own way, and we all want to bring something different to the table too.
I've done several interviews with other artists, and I'm going to ask you the same question I asked them. It's really intriguing how they respond to it, because it's always been a little bit different, but pretty much the same thing, but a little different. Now, you're my first female artist that I've interviewed, so I think this is going to be pretty interesting. Now, my question to you is this: the day that Selena was killed, how did you find out about it? And
I still remember the day and what I was doing. Isn't that crazy? Everybody.
What were you doing, Elida?
We were actually at Voltage. We were at the studio picking up some merchandise, and I guess we'd been recording or something the day prior. So we were at the studio, and from there we were going to go to the show. We were going to drive to the show that night. We were going to play in Carn City that night, and we had this rundown RV. We used to call it the shitmobile.
The internet radio, man, you can say it. We're good.
And it looked like a piece of poop. But you know what?
A piece of poop.
It got us.
I've never heard crap so politely. A piece of poop. Okay, we're good.
But I mean, basically, we used to travel in this RV. So I remember we were in the studio, and they said that they had announced that she had been shot. And we were all like in shock, but in denial. Like, it has to be a rumor. And then there were other rumors going around about Emilio and the whole scandal.
I heard the same thing.
Yes, and so then we have to get to the venue. So we're in the RV driving, and there's never has there ever been complete silence in the RV, because everybody's always laughing, talking. There's always something going on. But that night, on the way to it was just complete silence. And so that was what I remember. And then once we got to the show, we had to perform, but nobody showed up, because everybody was
in shock. Yeah. Sure. How unreal is that?
Yeah.
Have you ever performed a Selena song on your performances?
Yeah, we have.
You?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Every now and then, and then just recently, well, actually not that recent, but AB did a show, and he invited me to sing Ven Conmigo, so that was a treat.
Sure it was. I noticed that you do have a DVD live, ¿verdad?
Yes, I do.
You came up with a DVD live, ¿verdad?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I tell you what, let's go on the lighter side of Elida. You're married to Lalo Reyna, the third?
Yes.
Right? Did I get that right? There you go. Hands up, Lalo de Guadalajara. That's me. You have 3 kids.
Yes.
Natalia, Justin, and Layla, ¿verdad?
Yes.
Okay, talk to me about the kiddos.
Oh, they're beautiful. They're growing up. I have a teenager. Natalia's just turned 13. And she's involved she's great in academics, and I don't have any problems with them as far as that's concerned. She's into cheer. She's a cheerleader in school and starting to get into the boy thing, the normal stuff. And then my son, he's a little nerd. He's great.
A little nerd.
He's great. He's into sports. Like, that's all he ever talks about. He collects cards, and I mean, he's sweet. He's a sweet boy.
Sure.
And then my little one, she's something else.
Do they ever travel with you?
Sometimes. I'm afraid to bring them with me, but now and then, if I know that family's coming and they'll be around family, then I'm okay.
What does Elida do on her spare time? What do you do? What do you like to do? What are your hobbies, you and your family?
Well, I don't know that it's a hobby. I love to work out. That's kind of a way for me to feel good and to let out whatever negativity or whatever anxieties are going on with me, because it could get very stressful for me, especially after coming off the road, and that's just a way for me to release a lot of stress.
Sure.
And then I love to go to the bookstore and just read and have a Starbucks coffee or whatever. And that's like my thing to do. That's what I love to do.
Are you a sports fan? No?
Not really.
Really?
No. I know about them because of my husband or because of the guys. We're always talking about sports, but I mean, aside
Go
from
Spurs,
that,
go. There's no Go Spurs, go here? All right.
Yeah, Go Spurs, of course.
I remember the first time I went to the Valley, I took an artist down there, and I checked into the La Quinta out there on 10th Street in McAllen, and the Spurs were playing that night, and I told the guy, where can I watch the Spurs game, man? They go, they got the Buffalo Wild Wings right down the street. And I go, all right. And I couldn't believe the Spurs fanatics in the Valley.
Yeah.
It was unreal. But Ellie, there's not a Spurs fan. What's going on here?
No, I am. I just, I don't keep up like I should.
I hear you.
But every now and then, I mean, I do like to watch I watch sport. If I do watch sports, it's when I was watching sports. So I kind of like, hey, what's going on? And I'll kind of ask questions like, what's this? What's that?
What's in store for Elida? What do you see in the future? What's going on?
Well, right now, what we're looking forward to is going to Monterrey. We're going in a couple of weeks. So that's like the thing that we're actually gearing up for, is that we're going to be in Monterrey on March 22nd. And we're doing a big Tejano festival along with Roberto Pulido, Bobby Pulido, Los Dos Gilbertos. I mean, you name it. It's like hardcore Tejano is going to Monterrey, where they love and appreciate Tejano so much. And, they've been deprived of it, and they're just so excited that they're finally having a big festival. Like, the things that we're used to here,
right,
that we're used to having all the time.
That's right.
And it's like we kind of take it for granted because we know that come this weekend, Market Square is going to have something, whereas they don't have that. They don't have that luxury, and so it's kind of nice to take that to them, and so I'm really excited.
I've always said we're very spoiled here in South Texas.
I agree.
Tejano music, you can see them everywhere. They're always, you miss them 1 week, they'll be back in 2 weeks. They're not going anywhere. They're going to be back. Anything you want to say to your fans?
Well, just that I love them, and that I'm so grateful that they've stuck by me for 20 years, because I've been doing this for 20 years, and that they continue to support me, and really it's just I think that as long as I continue to bring out good music that they like, and I mean, that's our goal, is to continue to bring out music that is going to move them, and it's going to because people go through things in life, and they need that something. They need that little boost of positivity, or maybe something about a certain song that's going to get them through the day, and that's what life is all about.
There you go. I tell you what, before I close out here, I'm going to go and close out with La Canción Muévelo Así, and I've been pounding on that song. That's just simply an awesome song. Talk to me about the song.
Well, it's just a fun song. I mean, we wanted to put something fun and just kind of groovy and just different, and actually the original is totally different. When Lalo was writing the song, it was just totally different from what you hear now, but we collaborated with this awesome rapper musician out of Miami, and that would be Yayo. And Yayo is just like, he's just he's a firecracker. I mean, he's on fire, and he's just an amazing human being. And he was just so ready to do this with me. You know, he's collaborated with, you know, Daddy Yankee and all these different artists, and so it was really, really neat and exciting to have him come, you know, to the Valley, or what am I saying, the Valley, actually to Corpus, to do this with us, because he came from Miami, you know, specifically to do this with me.
How did you get him in the mix?
Well, he's a friend of a friend's, you know, and that's
there you go.
how it started, you know? It's always who you know, but you know what? It took getting to this point, being here 20 years, to, you know, everything's you know, I didn't have that in the beginning. You know, I couldn't have knocked on somebody's door and say, hey, can you kind of, it was like, you kind of have to earn it. And so I would hope that I've earned it by now.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Yeah. I'm telling you, man, I am simply blown away by your credentials here, Elida. You've definitely paid your dues, and people love you for it. You know,
well, I love them too.
And you keep on writing these songs that about love and hurt for the women. They're going to keep on embracing you that much more. Anyways, thank you for joining me on Robert Rivas Radio, Tejano, and much more. Definitely appreciate it. And tell you what, let's go ahead and finish it up with la canción Muévelo Así. Robert Rivas Radio, Tejano, and much more.
Quiero bailar contigo.
Ven, acércate a mí.
Quiero ser más que amigos.
Muévelo así, así.
Yo quiero sentir tu cuerpo.
Ven, acércate a mí.
Baby, dame un momento.
Muévelo así, así.
Y esta es otra más.
besito nada más. Así, así.
Así, baby.
Así, así.
Ahora sí, baby.